Hey guys, this is Aaron from my camper home, and I just wanted to put up another quick video. Um, I've been living in this trailer for a little over a year now, and when I first got it, the very back window looks like somebody tried to pry it open and crack the glass. Since it's not a window I see a lot, since it's back in the bunk area and that's usually my storage area, I didn't really think much of it, so I just taped it up so to keep the drafts from coming in. But it needs to be fixed, and I got a notice from the management here that it needs to be fixed pretty quickly. So I'm going to fix it today, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing. It is a 20 about 29 by 21 inch rounded corner window, and I'll show you here in a second what it is. So I went to Lowe's and got some of that plexiglass. I was going to get the stuff online that showed it was like $15 for a sheet, so I thought that'd be great. But I got there and that stuff was so thin, I was just afraid that it wouldn't do hardly any good. So I went ahead and bought the larger one. It's a little bit shy of a 1/4 inch thick. So I've got out my jigsaw and blades, and I'm gonna go measure and try to get it put, and maybe even bend that frame back in place. So let me take you out there and show you where I got started, and then hey guys, this is Aaron again. Here's that window I was telling you about. It's you can tell where it's been cracked, and I taped this. There's a big gap of glass that's missing. And it looks like somebody tried to pry this open when they tried to break into it before I bought it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to take this frame off. It looks like there's 2 screws at the top, one there and one there, and hopefully I can lift this thing off the frame without having to take it out. Otherwise I'm going to have to do it in place. Guys, I'm back again. I just want to show you where I've got going on. Here's the frame. I got the glass out and cleaned up all the caulk off of it, and I even bent this back in so now that it seals up right. So this is the empty frame. So what I did is I had that plexiglass, this piece right here, and there's the extra, and I basically just measured the square part, the up and down was, and it was 27 7/8 that way, and it was 21 I think this way. So I cut it square, and then I came back and just started with each corner and did one side, make sure it fit in there, and then I came over here and I traced the other side, and the other side there. One thing to note, I'm using a jigsaw with a metal blade on it. It's got the real fine teeth on it, and when I was cutting all along this long side here, I don't know if you can see it, but there's right here, and then there's some on this piece that came off. See that, where the blade actually melted the plexiglass as it was cutting through it. So I don't know if I should have used, you know, a rougher, a coarser blade, like a wood blade, to cut through it faster, or if that's just what it does. But it pretty much melted. You know, there's some pieces of melted plexiglass there. So I just took the scraper there and just scraped off all the edges and try to clean them up. They're going to be not going to be exposed. They're going to be underneath the rubber lining over there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these last 2 corners out, and then I'm going to start caulking this up in there, and I'll bring you guys back. This is Aaron again. Just wanted to bring it back. I've got the piece dry fitted in there. See, it's sitting up in there, sticking pretty good. The corners look good. Let me show you if I can do this with one hand. Yeah, there we go. All right, so on these things you've got this little edge right here, and then there's a little ridge right here, and then it goes under there. This is where the rubber gasket goes on the outside. So I'm gonna get some silicone and put it all along the inside here. I got this cleaned. Yeah, got it cleaned. Okay. And put silicone all around this bead, and then I'm gonna silicone this thing in, and then probably lean this ladder up against it to hold it into place for at least a little while I put the rubber gasket on. But we're getting close. This is good. There's the piece. It looks pretty decent so far. I put in about 30 minutes or so. When I got out the old one, I tried to take this off up here. This is the hinge for the swing out, and I thought I could just push the hinge up and this would pop off, but it didn't do it. Tried sliding it, you know, this way or that way and slide that thing off the end. It didn't work either, so I had to do it in place. So when I had the old glass in there, I just came in from behind, and then I went, you know, every few inches and just pushed this down and broke that silicone seal all the way around, and then I pulled the glass out, and then this is it right here. Here's one piece, and then there's the other piece. So I didn't break it any more than it was already broken, which is pretty good. So now I'm going to put this silicone on that, put the piece in there, and I'll bring you guys back. Hey guys, this is Aaron again. I just want to show you how I finished up. Here's all the tools you really need to do this job. I've got a tape measure, jigsaw, a level, mainly the level's just for a straight edge, putty knife, and a couple of screwdrivers, and of course a dog helper. So here's the tools I did. Let me show you what I got done. Showed you before. Now I put the glass in, I siliconed around the edge, and then I leaned this ladder right in the center of it, and I put some weight on it to try to hold it in there tight. But what it ended up doing, it ended up bowing the corners out and pulling them away. So it was pulling them away of the corners. So I took that off, and then I went ahead and just this rubber sealer, this rubber band that went around it. So I live by the airport. This rubber band that went, or rubber seal that went around, I just put it back in. That pops in there, and that'll hold the glass up nice and tight. So it looks like a decent job. I got it in. I just caulked up this little area here where they didn't quite meet. I put a little caulk in there. So I've got it in. I've got it done. I'm happy with it. I'm gonna go ahead and I think at the end of this video I'm gonna sit and talk about flooring options. I've been trying to get an idea for what I want to do inside the trailer, and I had just to throw out a couple of ideas that I've been thinking, and then I'll put this together and I'll get it out for you guys. Thanks for following me on my camp. Okay, this is the part of the video that I told you I wanted to talk about flooring options. I've been, like I said before in the video, I've been in this thing a year, and was a year and 3 months, year and 4 months, and I still haven't finished my floor. Now granted, I needed to get the bed built before I did the floor, and I need to get some other things done, so it was all a process. But I'm to the point now where I need to decide on the floor. The trailer has a wood grain linoleum layer in here, but when I was redoing the trailer, I took out all the floor registers, which went to the heater that was here no longer, and I cut the floor around the registers, and I patched up those holes in the floor, put some thin set in there to make it look structural. So half the trailer is just a subfloor where I cut the linoleum out and try to use a peel and stick. The peel and stick won't stick to that flake board. It's not flake board, it's that particle board. That stuff won't stick to it. So half the trailer is subfloor, and half the trailer is just pieced together wood grain old linoleum. So I've been wanting to look at some plans. I wanted to put an engineered laminate flooring in there, which I think is great, but it's a little bit expensive even for this little trailer. The trailer is 30 feet long and it's 8 foot wide, so that's 240 square feet total. The platform bed that I had a video on earlier takes up about probably 15 square feet, so I don't need to floor that. I can leave that old linoleum. So I did some figuring at work, and without the bathroom, without the back bunk, without the platform bed, I have about 160, almost 170 square feet of space that needs to be floored. The wood laminate you can get as low as $1 a square foot, so it puts me between $200 and $300 to do that. But then that seems like the best option to me, because it's a little bit more resilient than some other options, but to cut that linoleum I need a chop saw, a radial arm saw or something like that. All I have is a jigsaw and a circular saw, and that'll end up chipping the boards as I cut them. So I started thinking about linoleum. The trailer, since the trailer's 8 feet wide, most of the linoleum that I see at the big box stores is 12 feet wide. So I'm already wasting 4 feet the length. So if I got a piece of linoleum 12 feet wide by 30 feet long, I'm throwing away 4 feet times 30 feet long. I'm throwing away a third of what I bought, and I just did that. Now, granted, I could turn the linoleum 90 degrees and do 2 strips across it, and have just one seam in the middle of the trailer, and I wouldn't waste as much. But I don't like having it seam in the middle of the trailer. It's just if you're going to do it right. So that brings me to a good idea that one of my friends at work gave me, is these vinyl planks. So they come about 6 inches wide planks, and they're probably 3 feet long. And they're a floating floor, so I don't have to glue them down. I don't have to I don't have to glue them down. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So the ones I looked at Lowe's was a 4 feet wide plank, but on the one long side and one top side, it had about about an inch and a half sticky tab that came out from underneath it. So you got the sticky tab and the next one laid right on top of that, and that's how they stayed together as one cohesive piece when you get done. And the good thing about the vinyl is I don't need any special tools to cut it. You can cut it with a razor, and also seen some videos, YouTube videos, where people were cutting them with those big paper cutters, the big boards that they used to have in school when we went to school, and they cut paper with. And I have access to one of those, so that might be a good idea. And that's kind of come down to be my favorite idea so far. But the problem with that is those things are $1.79 a square foot. I checked at the Habitat for Humanity Restore here in town. They have some vinyl that I liked. It was a little bit cheaper, but it was a glue down. It didn't have the tabs with it, and you had to actually buy glue to squirt on the floor and glue it down. And I was afraid that those the butt joints, as they come together, they would kind of curl up, and then you get dirt down in there, you get liquids down in there. So I like the ones where the tab is overlaid, so it can actually have a nice bond, and no water gets underneath it, no dirt gets underneath it. It's really hard now to sweep this trailer because the laminate sticks up, and when I sweep from the back, it usually goes up underneath the linoleum, and I just got piles of dirt under there. So I'm thinking about that. I might just and also the thing is, those things with the overlying tabs, the under tabs, this part is tacky. It's sticky. It's not super sticky. It's just tacky, just so it'll hold that other one from sliding away from it. So I can't do part of the trailer and leave those tags, that tacky part sticking out, because it would be covered with dog hair and dirt and all kinds of crap just from sitting here. So once I start the trailer, I've got to do the whole trailer front to back. And that's looking around $270, almost $300 to do the trailer. But I won't. The good thing is I won't need an extra tool to cut it. I won't need glue. I'll just put the whole thing in, and then get some kind of sealer to put on the floor, and just seal the whole thing together. And any kind of weird angles in here, it's really easy to cut with a razor. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. If you guys have any ideas, you have any experience with this, please let me know in comments down below there. If not, I'm going to probably wait until I got that money put away and go ahead and do the vinyl planks. I've checked all the places. I've checked Lowe's, I've checked Home Depot, I've checked Lumber Liquidators, I've checked online, and they're all pretty much in line with the same price, $1.79 a square foot. So for me, I think that's the best way to go. So again, if you guys got any ideas, I'm always glad to hear your comments. I'm glad to hear your anything you had to say about what I've done so far, and thanks for following me. I plan on keep putting these up. I want to get this thing completely done and get it ready, and my end game is to get this trailer into a decent shape. But my whole end game was to build a tiny house on wheels from the ground up, from a trailer all the way up, and build it the way I want to. This was kind of a stopgap to get me to a position where I can do that. And I've got some other things going on, and that I'd like to do too. So I want to get this thing in a good place, and then I want to donate it to somebody who could make good use of it, who might need it, and then move on to my next project. So that's what I got. Again, thanks for following me all this time, and thanks for your comments. Thanks for your suggestions and your hoorays for me, and thanks for following my camper home.